Yes, yes, hello, ho, ho. All right, tonight's first Larger Than Live in our hashtag Holiday Encore edition. If you missed it, June 22nd, we got it for you now. It's Baptism by Bourbon, our special guest from News 5, Sports Director George Vogel. Some bourbon tasting, some great stories, and a lot more. We hope you enjoy.
We welcome our good friend and the host of The Last Call. He's here for the doors opening tonight, George Vogel. Welcome, and we can't wait to learn from your massive experience with regard to bourbon and whiskey and other things.
Well, it's great to be on with you guys before 11:30 at night, right?
Well, 11:30.
I'm always the caboose.
So, every Thursday night, just like he is when the credits roll on News 5,
right.
He's on with us as The Last Call at 11:50.
Right, I'm
I
at
might
the
as well be
tail end of
honest,
every
right?
show.
Oh, man.
As I told you, I'm a pair of Chuck Taylors in a world that's a tuxedo.
You got to love it. But I feel bad because we added Dardis to the show, and then all of a sudden I know that you're like, really? What am I, chopped liver over here?
Look, when you have Dardis on, it's 10:20, right? Something like
10:20,
that.
that's exactly correct.
I'm doing the 10 o'clock news on MeTV.
Oh.
We have the 10 o'clock news
you do,
on
that's
there.
right.
And you know what's crazy about that? When that thing first started, we're all like, come on, this is never going to work. Why are we doing this? I know why we're doing it, because they want to siphon. If it's just 2%, they siphon from 19 or the other news that goes on Star 64. They just look to side. Well, now that show's doing pretty darn good. It's actually making a dent.
Wow. So now you're down to, what, $225 a word? Is that what, because they added that in?
Yeah,
Right.
well, yeah, if you add that in, because they certainly didn't
Right.
add anything in when they added that show.
Right.
That was just gratis. That's just like.
Now, let me just ask a quick. We're not. I mean, I don't even. I don't drink bourbon.
Well,
I mean, and I got news for you.
You're going to tonight.
This is making me a little nervous. I mean, I got to make it up there.
Well.
So, I mean, it's going to be, which stairs can be an issue for me without bourbon.
I was sort of expecting that instead of showing maybe the backyard, we should have showed the path all the way up to your bed, because that's all you have to navigate. The rest of us have other things that we have to get to. But as you mentioned, making a dent, we're going to try to make a dent in some of this because, and this comes from a place of honesty. I mean, I was drinking a lot of beer. I'm trying to balance it out. I'm trying to move to a little bit more of the appreciation.
Hold on a minute.
What?
Hold on a minute.
What?
Don't give me this balance it out crap. Let's go back to Saturday. Hold on. Let's talk about it. I think you had pretty good balance. Please review.
All right.
What did you have?
I played golf in the morning.
Yep.
I don't
we'll
want to
get to that later. Don't spoil
I don't
that.
want to give up the ghost on that story.
But in the evening, you had what?
I came home to celebrate because it went better than expected.
Okay.
So we started with champagne that I happened to find in my refrigerator.
I got to be honest with you. I've never known a man who's a man drink champagne.
Well, that's what you do to celebrate. You
No,
celebrate
you drink
with
something
champagne.
else. You drink
Especially
bourbon,
before it goes,
champagne,
before it goes
leftover
bad.
that you found in your refrigerator.
You've never had a mimosa?
No, I don't. I'm not drinking that crap.
That's
you
all
got
right.
to be kidding.
Oh,
Mimosa.
man.
You know what?
When
You
you're
wore a
on,
skirt
when
you
you're on
drank the
vacation,
mimosa?
you got to have a mimosa, man.
Okay, but go
the
champagne.
morning.
Continue,
Later on, when
please.
you're
Listen
passed
to this,
out, you will
George.
be bathed in
George,
some sort of
get a load
seltzer.
of this one. Champagne.
So
then
we had
what?
champagne, and then we finished all of the Natty Lights that were in my little mini fridge, and they were considerable.
All right.
We moved on to finishing a bottle of Fireball, and then moved on to Don Julio tequila, and then there was something else I forget.
Hang on, and you need balance.
Well, I was listen to the
Right.
balance in that menu
you
right
need
there.
balance, right?
The
Was
balance
this last Saturday?
This was just this past Saturday.
And you're standing now.
between
I'm
the
impressed.
hours of 4 and about 9:30.
And the best part of it is
impressed.
I talked to him about noon on Sunday. He's like, yep, just getting up. I'm like, well, I can understand why after that.
But I was home. I was doing so responsibly.
You were. You did. I'll
as
give
we
you
were
that.
going to try to do tonight. But again, this whole thing kind of comes from the fact that I started drinking bourbon I don't know, maybe about a year ago. And I started with Maker's Mark because of the stories I've told you about my dad representing Makers when he was working in Louisville. I'm from Louisville, and it was an easy place for me to start. But I told you the other night, I'm starting to do the thing that I used to give people shit about, and that is like with wine, oh, the notes of vanilla and the notes of Northeastern
don't get me going on
sea
wine.
breeze and all that stuff. But I am noticing, and this is where George's expertise will come in to play as to whether or not I'm right or not, and then you can figure out whether you want to be part of any of that.
No.
Like, I catch a little bit of vanilla or a little bit of this or that in the tail end of some of these, and I think there's an Eagle Rare sitting up here, and so I had that the other night. And
Thanks to Andy for bringing us.
Yeah.
He's a bourbon connoisseur. He's brought us plenty to look at and sample.
But I'm one of the people
that
look
at it.
Somebody said, "Oh, well, it has a different kind of finish," and I'm like, "Oh, it's kind of hotter. It's almost like peppery," and that's what. And so I'm doing the thing that I always made fun of people for doing, but it has been kind of fun to try different ones to find out how they hit your mouth or how they hit your tongue or whatever.
And it does, and I think it does it different for. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's different for everybody. I think everybody gets hit a little different with some. There's stuff that I'm really weird because mine either hits the bottom of the mouth or the roof of the mouth. There's almost no in between with me.
Now, have you seen the diagram of the tongue and the whole mouth, like where if sweeter versus this? I just happen to run across that, but it tells you where different things will hit. And beers do the same thing. Jim Cook will be the first one to tell you on some of the beers how it does. And I used to watch my dad. He would take a drink of beer and he would chew it. And it was just to get it back here.
Chew it.
He did that.
That's a thick beer.
He would chew it, and it would get because the taste buds, the biggest taste buds, I guess, are back in here. But you will notice that as we go. I think you will. Maybe you won't.
Well, but
I'm starting to that it'll
the
hit
way
in
he
different
shoots
spots.
stuff. I'm not sure.
Well, we're not.
Well, you can't shoot this, but correct me if I'm wrong, but both of you you get off, you work nights, so when you come home, it's kind of a wind down, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
And Finn, you for all the concerts and everything, you were looking for something at the end of the night because when you get home, essentially, and I know when we do the show on Thursday nights, you get home and you're kind of still wound. You need something to kind of take the edge off and put you in that mode to go to sleep.
That was my boy right there, the Maker's Mark.
And it helps.
Yes, when the quarantine started, I used to call it my Maker's Mark quarantine. MAQERS MARQ. That's how I justified it. But with a big one of those big block ice cubes, and I don't know if that makes a difference to you, George, but I have like those big spherical ice cubes. You just get the one in there, and you can kind of swirl it around. We did was it Luxardo cherries, and some of that cherry syrup or juice in there. Really, really rich, but I kind of moved away from that just to get back to the bourbon, and that's what he and I started talking about. Would he appreciate that, or would he like it?
I know George well enough to know he's not drinking cherries in his bourbon. Am I right?
You're right. You're right.
Okay, I just thought.
I started out. I mean,
I'm sorry. Hang on, my tampon just fell.
Right? Yeah, I did. Please pick it up. Yes.
I'm not
please
touching
grab
it.
it. No, please grab it. It's.
Anybody got any spritzer that I can put in with this?
Right. No, but
I mean, I started drinking it with Coke though back. When I was younger, and it was more probably in the 90s was a Jack Daniels, a Jack and Coke blur.
Right.
And then you develop a taste for it to where you can drink it straight. And now it's like I couldn't mix it with anything.
So let me ask both of you guys, because I legitimately don't know. I've never been a bourbon whiskey drinker. What is the difference between bourbon and whiskey? Is there a difference?
There's not a lot, no. I mean, there is with Jack Daniels because they filter it through stuff like sugar and coal and stuff like that, or charcoal. It's a little different. It's a little sweeter. But when you get to like some of those other whiskeys, there's not a whole lot of difference. There's a little, but there's some that's very, very, very close to bourbon, but it's still considered a whiskey for various reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to step out too far on this, but I mean, for a whiskey to call itself a bourbon, it's the mash that makes the difference. The mixture of the kind of the grains from the way they distill it. I think 51% corn is the difference.
Damn, you've been doing your bourbon research.
Scotch, as we were talking about, is whiskey made in Ireland, which they make out of barrels that are used in Kentucky that can only be used one time. Right. Then they typically get shipped over there for that. But bourbon is a whiskey made in the U.S., typically from Kentucky. But Scotch is mostly malted barley, whereas bourbon is distilled from corn, at least according to Wikipedia on my phone. Right there.
That's great. That's
what
but
it says.
it's weird that Bourbon
I don't
has
know
to
what
be in a
talking
new
about.
barrel that is charred for the first time.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
once you age in that barrel, done. You can't use that barrel for bourbon again. You can use it for tequila, Irish whiskey, anything.
Okay.
But you can't. And that's why if it's not a new barrel, you cannot call it bourbon. So
Well-
you got some, bourbon's considered a whiskey, but whiskey's not a bourbon.
And some beers are using those barrels now too, and they're doing
Yes,
these
they
bourbon
are.
like a couple of them out of Lexington are doing that, as you would imagine too. And so you're getting some of those bourbon strength beers that'll kick you right in the hiney.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, here's
Bluegrass Brewing
here's
did
what I
that.
can tell you about wine compared to bourbon. And I'm not a bourbon drink. I hate wine. Okay, and I'll tell you why. As a man, I'm never gonna get a wine glass and like do that little thing where you like swirl it around and then you come on. You got to get a set of bowl. I'm not drinking that.
Right.
Now bourbon, I get it. Wine, no.
You never took wine to a sporting event in a wineskin or something?
Wine
or-
sucks.
Okay.
I hate wine. Wine is useless. When you have
Boone's
all
Farm,
these,
you
when
ever
you
have
have all
Boone's
the,
Farm?
well, hang on. It's funny you said that because I told Finn earlier today. We have to ask each other what you kind of got started on. So I can tell you back in, and I can say this because my mom and dad can't figure out how the hell Facebook Live works, so it's all good. I mean, so I can remember in high school, speaking of Boone's Farm, I remember two varieties, Tickle Pink and Strawberry Hill.
That was a big one.
And it was wretched. I mean, that stuff is just shit. It's terrible, right? I remember those two. I remember MD. Remember MD 2020?
Oh, do I ever.
Just
Oh, yeah.
brutal. You would go and you'd get, at the time we weren't of age, of course, and you'd have to go sit at some pony keg and get Fred to go in and buy it for you, right? And that stuff was in that weird bottle. It was awful.
MD 2020 was powerful.
And-
like Boone's Farm was
terrible.
just normal.
Well, Boone's
Oh,
Farm.
it was brutal.
Boone's
It was for
Farm,
one
I used to
thing.
mix it with Mountain Dew.
MD 2020
Right.
was for winos. That's
Right,
really
but do
just
you
it.
remember the big advancement in MD 2020? It was that purple
No, I missed
forever
that.
and
I'm
ever. The big
sorry.
advancement when they came out with an orange one, and everybody thought
They
they
came
had
out with an orange
they had
MD
reinvented
2020?
the wheel. Yeah, there was an orange MD 2020. We used to get it at the shop across the way from the house up in Miami, and I mean it didn't help you from keeping you from falling off the roof any better, but it just when you threw up, it was a different color.
Well, no, it's funny you say that.
Exactly.
I think my biggest issue was every whiskey that I've had early on was so god awful that it turned
Well, if you
me
were drinking
off.
it out of a plastic bottle,
No,
that's
no.
the problem.
Have you ever heard of Rebel Yell?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the noise you make when it's coming back.
Well, I did. So it was it was my birthday. We had a party at the condo I used to live in. I drank a fifth of Rebel Yell. Hold on, it gets worse. So I laid down. I had a water bed. That'll date myself. Oh yeah. So I had a water bed.
You know what? Whatever happens after this, you deserve
so
it.
we had a
You
big,
deserved
we had a
it.
big party, and somebody discovered my bedroom off of the main bathroom, and there were like 4 people at each part of the water bed. I did the responsible thing, man. I went in there to go to sleep, and they're all rocking the water bed. So I wake up the next morning lying in my own vomit, right? And I took out the bedspread. So it was 5 o'clock. I love my mom dearly. She'd made this like homemade spaghetti and meatballs. At 5, I can remember trying to walk up the driveway at their house. I couldn't eat a thing. And they looked at me, and I was, of course, a responsible guy at that point in time. That was my experience.
All right. Well,
And
that
that's
explains why
terrible.
we're standing
Yeah,
here
that
today.
totally.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Let's
Okay.
reset. If you don't mind, you know where the cooler is. Could you get
Do
me
you
a-
need one? Sure, I'd be
I'd do
happy
one
to
of
get
those
you
if
one.
you would,
right? I'm
please.
going to probably walk in front of this camera, so excuse me.
That's okay. So, again, the whole reason that we're here is because you have been designated our resident expert. Now,
Well-
we do want to start with the bottle here in the center because this came to us, the 1792 small batch, which
That's
you've
really
said
good,
is and
yes.
I've read about. I've never had it before.
Yep.
But our friend Stacy and the crew at the VFW Hall there, Ralph Fulton Post 6423, they gave us, thank you, sir.
God
They
bless
gave us they gave us bourbon. They
Very
gave,
nice.
gave me some snacks for Calvin, all kinds of good stuff, and
Nice.
these cups that we're going to be using. But I
Well-
thought maybe you might get us started with that, and I know you brought a few yourself.
We got something to drink out of.
Oh, outstanding!
Liquor City Uncorked.
Oh, okay.
My buddy Joel, Dr. Bourbon, all those guys, the Gallenstein family. Now we can drink out of those.
Well, I'll
right?
tell you something right now. If this is from a doctor, then we have to do it.
There you go.
All
Just
right.
pour me very little.
All right, there you go, Fred.
That's very little.
Yeah, don't spill any of that on your dress.
I want to see you swish it around and sniff it.
Thank you. I paid a lot of money for this dress, so I can't disparage it, please.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound
From the last
sexist.
time I saw you in person, there's only half of you now. What happened?
That's all right. I've lost some weight.
That's good. That's
All right,
good.
George. I'll let you decide how much you want
Oh,
there.
I'm gonna
But
go tiny.
this is a good place
We
to
got
get
a lot to
started.
get
And what do
through.
we have here?
And this is the 1792
Small
that's
batch
what they gave us.
1792.
small batch. Now, what is the shape of this glass? What is that doing? Do you know why they? Because you see these at the Party Source
Yeah,
or
you
different
do.
places or at Liquor City, and they sell these. But why is the bottle or the
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
Okay, then we're off and running with our expert.
Because
Yeah,
Wait,
right.
someone in the studio
oh,
audience
we got some
knows.
help here.
Andy knows.
Get on the mic there
It's to get your nose in it,
to get your nose in it.
get all the vapors, and get the real taste around your mouth before you swallow.
Okay.
My nose isn't that long to get down there.
Well, if you tell enough lies tonight, it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, there won't be any lies.
Well, I will tell you. You know,
I
that's
almost had a
interesting.
wife joke there, but we're going to leave that alone.
Just let that be. You should be glad you're married. Right?
It's interesting that you say that because it almost does. It makes a almost like a
Yeah, it
chimney
does. It
to
really
get it up
does.
to your nose. Now, what do you? I mean, is that one of those where do you sit around and go, oh, the
No,
the
I
hints
can't. I
of
can't do that. My sense of smell sucks.
really?
Well, let me.
Totally.
You don't have the virus, do you?
No, it's
Okay,
been
just
that way for unless I've had the virus since
Well, just-
like 1980.
Some things take time, my
Yeah,
friend.
they do.
See, now I'm
There's
going
a
to be honest.
gestation
You know me.
period.
I'll be honest with you. See, this just, man, I don't know.
Now that's not too strong though.
No, I know, but dude, I'm wearing a skirt,
I'm
so
gonna
let's
put-
keep that
I'm
in
gonna
mind.
Take it in and swish it around, see what we got.
That caught me off guard. That went right to the roof of my mouth.
Not bad.
It's really good.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it did get my roof a little bit.
It did it. What's
I like
weird is
that.
I like when I breathed.
There
went
we
up.
go. Now I'm
Here,
feeling
here's
it.
the
You know,
problem,
you
though.
feel
You
it
know
here.
That's
Yeah.
good.
You know the old saying, liquor and beer have no
That's
fear. Beer and
good.
liquor makes you sicker. So we screwed this all up.
No, I think
we
we'll
should
be-
have followed with beer.
I'm just staying off a waterbed, okay?
I think we're just. Yeah.
That night was horrifying.
it sounds like it.
Horrifying. Those people should feel ashamed. They tortured
Every
me.
night was probably horrifying on that thing.
It was bad. It got hot. Sometimes I
What?
sweated.
I'll tell you what.
God,
That is really good
that
because
is really
there's
good.
there's none of like I think all of the things that make people afraid of bourbon aren't there.
Are you feeling a bite or anything, or
I felt the bite, yeah.
but not much?
No,
Like,
not
it's-
bad.
Do you
that
feel it in
wasn't
here
bad.
or down here?
That wasn't everywhere.
You got a
Yeah,
burn?
you feel it
It
everywhere.
just burned.
That was really good.
Yeah, no,
Wasn't
that is
bad.
very
Now,
good. All right, so that's
do
the
we
small
want
batch.
Dr. Bourbon and Joel's selection?
Absolutely, I think we go for it.
All right,
You
let's
brought
do
it.
that.
You're the expert.
Now, you got me started on this a long time ago.
I
Good
did?
stuff.
You had a bottle from someone.
Right. Well, let's rephrase that. I had a bottle that I didn't even attempt to open, and you came over here and drank it.
I
It
would
was
tell
good.
Yeah, well, of course it was. I
took
get it.
What was left home? You let
That's
me
okay.
take
I
that?
did.
you, the bottle that got
Four
me
Roses.
started is that
Single
bottle
Oh, yeah,
out of
Four
Louisville.
Roses, right?
Okay.
'Cause that's one of your faves, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
And Liquor City Uncorked sent this down.
Yeah, that's
They're
fantastic.
big fans of you guys. Joel and Dr. Bourbon, and this is this is single barrel strength. This is 58% alcohol.
Oh, that's all?
That's all.
So wait, so that's 100. I'm not really
So
good at math.
I'm real
116 proof.
interested.
So
Specially selected by the Gallenstein selection, number 14. It's got the barrel, all that good stuff. But I'm interested to see if this is what I call hot.
Do you work tomorrow night?
No.
Okay, well, that's good. I have a conference call
I'm
at
going careful.
2:30.
I'm
I
not
have to be.
pouring a lot of
I
this.
get up at 6 a.m.
I
and
just wanna
walk.
taste this
Can I
stuff.
make it?
What time?
6.
Nope.
Okay, so let me ask you
You're
this:
done.
using the same glass without rinsing it out, is that?
Yeah,
gonna
I don't-
be-
I-
Well,
is
here,
that-
use a. We
I
can
can't
keep the
imagine
glass, use
it's-
a pla- I mean,
Use
that's-
these?
they
Oh, yeah,
get-
well-
I can't imagine there's a whole lot left in there.
All right, there you go, Fred. Run that around
Oh, I can't wait.
your pie hole.
Now that's 58%. I have no
So
idea.
what does that make it?
They tell
116
me
proof?
they tell me now they figured out how to smooth this stuff out with that high of a percentage of alcohol. I'm going to find out.
but
'Cause
that
that's pretty stout.
Oh, hang on. From the producers that we need a cheers.
Oh, we do need to
yeah.
We need a
cheers.
cheers. Yeah, we need a cheers.
Do you have any good toasts? Do you know any good?
I do know some, but I really don't want to repeat.
Oh, I got one.
Go ahead.
I got one. Do you know this one?
Here, come on, Fred.
Here's to you, and here's to me. May we never disagree.
Well,
But
stop right there.
Let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
my
if
bad.
by chance someday we do, here's to me.
There you go. Well, there you go.
Totally different. Mm-hmm. Sweeter.
It is different.
Oh,
You're right.
totally different.
Yeah. And it's up here.
Let me tell you something, though.
The other one was here.
That must
and
not
then
be
up in my
as
nose.
I can't tell you where it is.
You're not tasting it like up
Well,
in
I'm
here,
tasting
or-
it, but I don't. I guess I don't.
Just
I guess when I
think
drink,
about
I just
where-
knock them back.
Just think about where the flavors are in
Yeah.
your mouth. I'm telling you, there will be some up top, some in the bottom.
that.
Some,
Okay, I'll give
that
you.
was
That
more
was more
up top. Yeah,
Look at
exactly.
me. I'm already a connoisseur.
See, that's all
You
I
are.
can do.
All
That's
right.
all I can do.
You
I
put
can't
the-
tell you that there's some vanilla and some,
That's
hickory
really
nut
good.
in there or
but
whatever.
that's really good too. And I think
That is smooth for that high
for
of a
that
percentage.
strength.
Yes.
and that is, I mean, and then the other thing that you
Wow.
have to do is
Thank
as
you very much.
as you try them. Yeah, thank you,
Holy smokes,
doctor. That's
That's
outstanding.
really good.
But then you figure out which ones you want for certain
surprised by
things,
that.
like if you're sitting around a fire pit, or if you're camping,
Yes.
or if you're
You are
sitting
right
in the
about
house.
it.
Here's the thing for me though, drinking just needs to be impulsive.
Well,
I
there's
guess I'm
times
not-
though.
but I'm not a.
If
thinker.
you take like a Woodford,
You're not a thinker, is that
if
what
you
you-
take
I'm not
a
a
Woodford,
thinker when it comes to booze. I just want to knock stuff back.
but
and
if you
then be
take like
done.
a Woodford Double Oak, that's
Okay.
sweeter.
Okay.
That's something that, like, that's like an after dinner, or for me when I get home from work.
Well, that's when
I
you-
can
okay.
hit that then,
All right.
and
Now, do you
really
do
like
you
it.
drink wine?
Not much. I've had some, but I'm starting to be a little more open to it. A little more open. Well, that I'm telling you what.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We're
Yeah,
two
if
for
anybody
two.
from the audience would like a sample, let us know. We'd
Absolutely,
be more than
yes.
happy to pour because
Would anyone like one? If you're on the other
Oh,
side
I
of the
think,
camera,
I think our boy Andy here
Yeah.
would. I think he need not
You
only
want
would
this?
like one. I think
you
he
want
needs
to try
one.
this? It really
Well, I don't
is
think
good.
anything with Andy is try this. I think it's can I just have
would
a
you
glass?
continue to have some more of
Right
this?
there you go. Here,
I mean, I've got 2 thumbs up for
But
that.
and you know what's funny, George?
Wow.
The first bottle that got me back into I'm going to do bourbon. This was a couple years ago in October. Was a bottle of Four Roses that I got in Louisville that I brought home from a conference. It was a gift. It was different than that. I remember it well enough to know that it was not. There was a difference between that and this.
and they and what I found with them is sometimes I'm not the experienced connoisseur, but I feel like different barrels, like there is a variation.
Yeah.
I found one night at the Orange Bar in Covington, right?
Okay.
You know where I mean? I'm sitting there and they had a bottle there, single barrel. I'm like, let me try a sidecar of that with a beer. And it was so good. It was pretty sweet, but it was so good. I'm like, I need to buy this bottle from you guys. They couldn't do it
Yeah.
because it's just illegal.
Well,
So I just sat there and drank as much as I could
and something that they talk about too, and I learned this
and
with
called Uber.
Maker's 46 was the number of staves, which are the staves that they stick into the barrels, and they tried 45 different staves till they got to 46, and that's the one Bill Samuels Jr. liked the best. So that's the one they went with. But
What's
I mean, it
crazy
just comes
about
down to
this
that.
is all the trial and error that
Yeah.
they do and how long they have to wait on the results.
We need 2 more from the studio audience. Gary, the landscaper.
All right.
Kevin would like to try one. Now, Skittler needs one.
Are we
yes.
talking the
Do
Four
they want
Roses
this?
For whatever you put, they'll take.
or the 1792?
Oh, here, we just give us the bottle, I guess. Well, you know,
Does
dude,
that,
I
does
just-
that give us the bottle? Well, he expects to take some of this home with
No,
him, I
that's
think,
fine.
doesn't he?
Yeah,
Well, I hope to, but if I don't, it's not a big deal.
Oh.
Dude, they're not drinking.
Then
all
I
this. They
will.
gotta
I'll
get
go
their-
buy a bottle
Here you
from
go,
them.
Fred.
I won't take any of Andy's because he brought. Oh, he's eyeballing those. He's got strings
Okay.
from his eyeballs to the
Now-
necks of the bottles. He goes,
Next.
"Those are coming home with me, you son of a
I
gun."
don't know how many more I can sample because
Well, let's tell a story as we.
Well, I was going to see if George wanted to meet tomorrow at
Willie's.
Willie's and have a few. You want to meet down at Willie's tomorrow?
is that where my car is?
Right. Well, okay. You want to tell that story first?
I can.
Okay. No, wait. That
I
was
can't
the one- hang
remember
on.
which night that was.
That
Oh.
was. Well, you obviously didn't have a vehicle.
We went to
right?
the Miami and UC game down at
Oh, my
down at US Bank Arena.
We did.
You and
think.
I.
Right. We did. Okay.
And-
so
and-
wait. This was.
So we met at Willie's.
Nah, I don't think so.
Isn't this a great story?
No, it's an awesome story. We got to figure out which one it is.
So-
No. So you obviously did. No. This would have been the night we wound up out here at the White Castle.
Correct.
Did we go to that? So we wound up.
Anyway,
we
we're at the
down,
UC
we went down
Miami
to,
game, and then we're cabbing it the rest of the night.
Well, we went to
'cause
Dickman's.
We know.
We went to Dickman's, right?
Yes, after the game.
After the game. So we got a cab before the days of Uber and all that stuff. And we decided they were taking me home first because I live in Burlington, then they were going to take George home. So we get the bright idea. He's like, let's go through White Castle. And I'm like, dude, aren't you a vegetarian? Which at the time he was.
I wasn't at the time. I fell off that wagon.
He fell off the wagon.
Honestly, you were probably safe.
So we go through, the cabbie goes through White Castle, and George is like, man, get whatever you want. This dude must have ordered $60 worth of food.
And a 50-gallon drum of Pepsi. That thing was so big.
So they take me home, and then they drop you off.
Yes.
And the next day I remember getting a call from you, and you said what?
Well, I said, where's my car?
Right.
Dude.
Which I'd parked before we went in the cabs and started drinking. I thought I'd parked at Newport on the Levee. Now, I live near Ludlow, near DeVue Park. So I'm about a mile from Willie's.
And you had the
Covington.
lovely
What
wife.
was Willie's?
You had the lovely wife take you over there, right?
So, yes, I get up, and I'm like this, and the wife takes me to Newport on the Levee because that's where I thought my car was. She drops me off. I walk down to where I think my car is. There's no car. You know, and you got that. You got that little key fob, and you're hitting it. You're waiting for a. And then I'm hitting the emergency button. I'm like, I don't care if the horn blows. I got to find my
Garage doors all over Newport.
And then
going
it
up and
hits
down.
me.
Yep.
I parked at Willie's in Covington. So with this monster hangover,
And I'll give you credit. You
and
walked
it's
it.
95 and humid.
Oh, my God.
And I got to walk.
You sweat it out, though.
I walk from Newport to Covington. I find the car at Willie's,
Hang on.
which
And I just thought of
I've
another
just been
story.
driven by.
We'll throw this one in. You remember when we were at the suite at the Reds game?
I remember being there. Yes, I don't know.
So
if I
we're in
remember what
we're in a private suite at the Reds game, and Bob Castellini comes in.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like the owner of the Reds, right? And he comes in and he goes, "We just happen to be standing up near." He goes,
Oh God, this.
He
was
says
funny.
to me, "Is George here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's right over there." He meant their attorney, George. I don't know his last name, but I said, he looked at me like, "Who the hell are you? And what are you talking about?" And we laughed about that.
Oh yeah.
And if you remember my great driving out of there, maybe I shouldn't have been, but I'll tell it. Remember that dude who almost hit us when we went out the back of the garage?
Absolutely.
Because I was like a great driver. That was a story I just added. So we'll get to
That wasn't even on our schedule.
That
of
was
things
not
to
even on the
cover,
schedule. How are we
as
looking
opposed
on
to
the
all-
IT?
As opposed to all the other things that we've planned so far.
Yeah.
No.
Bob's like, "Is George here?" I'm like, "Why the hell's he care about me?"
You found
I'm
out
like,
rather
"Hey,
quickly.
Bob," and he looks at me like, "Who the hell is this guy?" This
did.
guy hasn't saved me any money.
He had no interest in talking to you whatsoever.
Well, we have a handful of comments here on the Facebook page. Again, please like, please share. Go to Gamble, capital N, Finn. It's our YouTube channel. If you would subscribe, that would be great. It's free to subscribe. It's sort of like Columbia House. You can pay a penny and get 12,
I used to
12,
do that.
12 free episodes and then pretend
then you would forget to
you've
cancel.
died when they bring
always
the other
cancel.
records. Lisa says she's with you. She doesn't plan out her drinking. She just gets out and works on quantity. McGill wanted to hear about the Reds game, so I think that was it right
Oh,
there.
he was there. I believe he was there that
God
night.
bless
yes.
him.
Our buddy
Well,
Steve says Wild
he
Turkey
supports
101.
bowling. I
Are
love
you a 101 guy, like a Knob Creek or a
Yeah,
Turkey 101?
yeah, I
See,
can do
a
that.
rye. What about rye? Do we
Yes,
have any
I
ryes
do.
up
I've
here?
got. You know what? I didn't bring any. I've got some at home.
Have Lisa run him
I got a
out.
Woodford rye. I have a Bullet rye. You want me shot? You probably
Right.
do.
I'm just saying. Well, actually, now that you mention
I would
it,
like
sure.
a pastrami and rye.
Have
if
her
you
bring it
don't
out.
mind. I'm hungry. You know what
we
I'm
can
saying?
do that too.
Oh man, yeah. McGill says he's still having nightmares about that night, so we know he's on board.
Yeah,
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was a lot.
So
of
now
fun.
this baby Blanton's. What are we looking at here?
God, really?
This is another.
Yeah, that's why we're here, Fred.
This is
We
another Joel Dr. Bourbon selection from Liquor City Uncorked.
Uncorked.
Now,
But
what's
this
the difference
stuff,
between?
this stuff is very, 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 very across the board. I think it's very consistent.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the opening. You got.
Isn't Blanton's considered in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Isn't that
pull them out
considered
like this? Yeah.
That's considered one of the best
It's like
bourbons in
undoing a
Kentucky,
bra
right?
almost.
I think it is.
Jesus.
Almost.
I think it's really good. It's very consistent.
Fancy.
It's
Oh.
it never bites. I'm gonna shake this one out.
You're starting to get a little sense of some of my frustration in high school, I think.
Right, with the trying to get the bra off.
Yeah, a little bit of my commentary. A little bit of my commentary may be telling.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh, my God.
Is that too much? You can
No,
pour
it's
some in
perfect.
there.
No. No, you're fine.
Now that's a baby serving.
Good, because I feel like an infant tonight.
Here's the good news. The good news with this, look over there while I put this in the pocket of my cargo
You
shorts.
know, and you know about the letters, right?
I don't, no.
On the corks.
Okay.
So right back here is a letter. And they do Blanton's. You can spell it out. They
Okay.
actually sell these wooden things that you can.
Oh, the stoppers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I don't have my glasses on. What's that letter right there? Can you tell? Is that an N?
That's an N. That's an N.
Yeah. My kid's collecting those.
So if you collect them, what do you get? Do you
So
get like a
nothing.
hot dog or
you just
something?
get no.
No.
You got to go buy another bottle of Blanton's.
You get checked into
But
rehab.
this stuff is always so good. But
Oh,
we'll
man,
see.
that's-
We'll see if I like it.
All right, cheers again.
All right,
Yes.
Cheers.
If anybody would like a sample, feel free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel free.
If you want to bring up a straw, don't.
I'm
Fight your
wondering
instincts.
if that's the.
See, that went right to my nose from the inside.
See, that all hits me down here, all down low. And that is so darn smooth. Let me see what. I mean, there's no bite to that. 93 proof.
See, isn't that funny? I totally caught.
So you did.
It did. It caught.
See?
I caught a bite versus what we did before.
The Four Roses.
Yeah, the Four Roses. I totally caught
Which
a
is
bite
a much
in that.
higher proof. See, I got none. That
Isn't
was
that
weird.
interesting?
But
it's all on the tip of my tongue. None of it's here. None of it's here.
Yeah, see, I get it. Like, I got some on the tip, but most of it's just down here. And it hits different people.
But you know what? I think
really
that's what's
does.
fun about this is because you can find the one that you like, and
Correct.
then you go do your thing. You know.
I agree with that 110%. And people think like, oh, this is the best bourbon ever, and you got it, and it may not hit you the same
Well,
way.
you know, it's funny. I became a Maker's Mark ambassador, which you can do for free if you go to their site. If you like it, you get a number, you get a barrel with your name and number on it, and then 6 or 7 years from now, they reach out to you when it's ready. You can come down and buy
wow.
your own labeled bottles out of your barrel.
Just what you need.
But I would tell you what's cool about it is there's a whole community that makes comments and
cool.
all sorts of things. And one guy came on, this was just this morning, I think. He said, I don't like Maker's Mark cask strength. And then he goes, and then he put in parentheses, ducking now, because rarely do people say they don't like something. But
Right.
to your point, if you like something better than something else, I think that's what this is all about. And that's what's kind of fun about it is you can say why you do or don't like. And, you know, everybody has literally
100%
different
agree.
tastes.
And it could be a cheap bourbon that for some reason,
Well,
you know,
you mentioned
may
mixing.
find something you like.
You mentioned mixing before. My dad, again, who introduced the family to the Maker's Mark brand, he would come home and he might do a bourbon and Coke before dinner, but he drank 10 High and Old Crow.
Yeah.
When he mixed it with Coke, which my understanding is that's as close to gasoline in a
Old
bottle
Crow.
as you can
Brutal,
get.
isn't it?
I mean,
Well-
10 High was in a plastic gallon jug,
That reminds me
but
of
when he
a
mixed it with
story.
Coke, that's what he drank.
That
Uh-oh.
bottle, it's that bottle of Four Roses that I got here. Okay, and I take home.
But that's not Old Crow.
And I love this. No, it's great.
Oh my God, no! It's
I love
like
this stuff. So I'm loving this stuff. Well, we had some people over and we're just having a couple of drinks and stuff. And then I poured a little bit of it and I go back in and then all of a sudden the bottle's like down to this. And I'm like, okay, Lisa, you drinking that? She's mixing it.
Oh.
And I'm like, no. Here's what you mix.
There's certain.
And she
mixing
did
and
get the
certain-
message.
right, okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Unless there's nothing
You
else
know what
in
you
the
mix
house.
Four Roses with? Friends.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good. Very
maybe,
well said.
Maybe one ice cube.
Yeah.
So off our
Very
Facebook
well said.
page.
And by the way, their small batch, that's really good too.
Now,
I
small batch
love
is
that.
better than, right? I mean, that's conceivably better than the normal. Is that right? Or
Yeah,
no?
but this is a single barrel, and if it's a good barrel and it went out in the audience somewhere.
So a guy,
it just depends on the barrel.
a guy I went to high school
But the
with,
small batch is more consistent. They try to
Blake
make
on our
it
on our
taste the same.
Facebook page wanted me to talk about the night I had whiskey at Barnesburg Tavern. You know where that is?
No.
So it's out in the old CTP. It's out in Old Coleraine Township. Now it's changed.
I should know where this
well,
is.
no. They have it's changed now. They have a Barnesburg restaurant, but it used to be across the street. And this was when I was sadly, I think in high school. I shouldn't have been in there, but I was.
Hey,
And I was-
they're
and I
closed,
was-
you say.
I was lubed
Imagine
beyond.
that.
I could barely stand, evidenced by the story I'm about to tell you. And I was hitting on this 40-something. She might have even been 50-something, and she was wretched.
Good
I mean, it
Lord.
was so bad.
And how old were you, 13?
I was a little older than that. But we were playing ping pong. I mean, come on, it's an
Wow.
old-time bar, man. And I went for the shot to the left and just went to the ground. I mean, it was like, and that was probably at the time he said, "Let's go." It was brutal. I mean, those are the old stories. I mean, thankfully we lived through them.
Well, when you talk about things like that, like 4 different stories went through my head then. I'm not bringing them up. But
Well, I will. I'll bring up a couple more. Let's toss one in here. Do you want to should we tell the pro shop story now? Because you got to
that's
admit,
an easy story.
well,
That's-
this is easy, but this is one of the absolute best. And Finn, you played golf on Saturday.
Right. Now, before we get there, just
Yes.
a reset for
Okay.
everybody
Oh,
that's
yeah.
watching and those
Please
who
do.
are still tuning in,
Anybody
who are just
watching?
not sitting around going, oh, my God, I need to go start drinking. Gamble and Finn, larger than live, here on the Back 40, the Oasis at House Gamble. We have a studio audience. We're thrilled that you're on the other side of the camera. Yeah, make some
got
noise.
a studio
Make some
audience.
noise.
Studio audience.
Yeah.
Look at this. What the hell? People are just jutting in front of the camera.
And the
We don't even know this guy. He just came in the neighborhood and
I know.
started
What
taking
the hell?
beer.
And he's drinking my beer.
He was watching
Oh
Facebook.
no, that's
Bullshit,
for the executive producer. She can have as many as she likes.
Yeah, she can.
But I would tell you, this is the first time I think we've done the show from back here where somebody hasn't started a lawnmower
Right.
1 minute before we started. A bird didn't try to kill you coming out of that
Right.
tree.
I almost got hit by a bird. It almost took my head off.
Gary, the landscaper, is here.
I
but
think
we
that
did.
bird would have gotten the worst end of that deal.
Might have. Yes, you're
Yeah, if he had
correct.
bounced off of your pate, he might have gone down hard. But we Gary, the landscaper, is here. And he goes, it looks like we need to blow this patio off a little bit. We're like, let's wait till we can get the chainsaw out a couple of weeks from now. So
We've got to cut
that.
down a dead ash
We got to
tree.
work that out.
Boy,
But
that tree's
we're
hurting.
thrilled. We're thrilled to have you here. And now wait a minute now.
Yes.
Oh no, you've got to volunteer now to take the tree down. Besides Gary,
Okay.
Dustin is.
Oh, Dustin, you're good.
There you go. All right.
That's
Well,
fine.
we digress, therefore we are, but that's what we're doing here. George Vogel is our first ever live guest, and I think this
Yeah.
is what this show is really
It's
going to
what
be
it
about.
should be.
Is going to be having guests out here, having people out here that want to be part of it, storytelling, and we try to keep it to 45 minutes to an hour. Tonight, if we can keep it under 3 hours, I think we'll be
Right.
just fine.
Well, and here's the
Cheers.
best part. We don't have to have a commercial about a podcast.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you
Inject-
telling me you don't want to talk about the Vatican?
In 1972, when a shipwrecked. No, I don't
As a
wanna talk
reminder,
about
we
that.
are on LW at least
Oh,
one
yeah.
more week.
And he's our last call.
Wait a
Maybe.
minute, at least one more week.
Well,
Is there
maybe.
something.
If anybody from over there sees this, which will never
Oh,
happen.
okay.
I
And
bought
I
this-
do apologize bringing up those long commercial breaks that one night.
right.
But I mean, you guys tell me when to call in, right? Usually
Right.
it's a 3-minute break.
Right.
This was like an 8-minute break.
Well, that's
Hang
because
on,
the
Fred.
governor was talking.
I
earlier
bought
in the
this
day.
for radio, but now I use it for a podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just
So anyway,
move
we're on WLW Thursday nights, 9 to midnight, at least this week, and then we'll see what happens. Now, for us to be booted off would require them to pay attention to anything we're doing. So
here you go. This is a story. So I'll preface this with a question.
That's good.
Have you ever been cut off of alcohol in a golf pro shop? Here you go.
Oh, we got one hand out there.
Who has? Really?
That's not surprising, is it?
Well, we had played. We played.
Oh, there's two.
You have? Where? Okay.
Saturday.
it wasn't this
No.
past Saturday. That all happened afterward.
Okay.
But I can't
So-
say. I'm not allowed to say.
we played.
That was rare. I'd never been.
No, and
Not
I
even
and I don't.
close.
I'll mention the course. It's right here. It's Boone Links.
Maybe your friend has had enough was the phrase.
God, that
Somebody
was
told a
funny.
friend of you that, or
Someone from the facility said maybe your friend has had enough.
to someone else about you.
Yes.
Okay.
At the
We were
quote-unquote,
just flat told.
the 19th hole.
We were just told no mas.
Oh.
It
You've
was,
had
but
enough.
wait, but this is great.
Do tell.
Before we had been told that, we tried to save a woman's life.
Yes.
And it didn't matter. So here's the scene. So we're playing 18 holes. Was it 18 or 9? It doesn't matter.
I think it was 11.
We might have
11 or
stopped.
12.
We might have stopped at
We're
13.
supposed to play 18, but yeah, I think we probably got 13.
Sometimes if the course gets hilly, I'm done. I'm
ran
out.
out of-
If I have to hit a shot off
You
another
ran out of
level-
golf balls.
So anyway, so we go back in the pro shop. We're just, and honestly, you have to admit, we were doing nothing wrong.
Nothing. We were our usual sweet self.
Right. We're sitting at a table. There's no one in there but us.
Correct.
We're ordering some beers.
We're tipping.
We're tipping. Yes. In comes Henrietta to order something at the bar, right? So, no. In comes a couple. The couple came in right before they came in, we looked behind the bar. It was I'd say she was in her 40s maybe. She was working the pro shop, and she had eaten some ice, and she started coughing.
Yes.
And literally, she was like coughing to the point where she may have needed the Heimlich. And we're kind of going like, what do we do?
Do you know the Heimlich? Do you know the Heimlich?
No,
Do
but I
you
mean,
know
we're
the
like-
Heimlich?
I do.
He's
I
from
was-
Cincinnati.
I was
you know.
about to try it.
So while Susie's doubled over, in comes a couple, and they needed like directions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So she's obviously struggling, about to drop to the floor, perhaps die. And they're going, "Hey, do you know how to get to wherever?" And we're like, "You got to be shitting me."
We're
Like, what?
watching this scene. It's like,
Hey, can
this
you guys
can't be real.
Quiet down. We're watching her die.
Right. So anyway, she couldn't obviously answer without spitting out the peanut or whatever she had eaten. So they just turned around and left, and we're looking at each other going, what the hell? So we go, so she finally, we're like, do you need help? And she finally got the ice out.
The ice melted,
And
but
then
thank
she
you.
went
was a
from,
piece
we
of
tried to
dick.
help Susie, and she cut our ass off.
Right.
After we tried to save her life, she came out and she said, "Oh, you
Right.
boys have had enough." I'm like, "What the? You almost
And
died.
this
we
lady-
tried to save you."
When we got to her, and it's like she's gone, she's like, I don't know the directions.
Right.
And then we're like, something's got to give here. So they're like, thank you, and they walk out the door. Because I'm thinking these people are going to at
Gonna
least
step in.
do something.
And
And,
we
they
were like-
don't, so we
we're
go
like
up
talking.
there.
Can you believe these people? We better
Yeah,
get
we're
up
like,
there.
hey, can we help you? She's like, I think I got it. I got it. I'm like, I'll
And the
do
end-
whatever you need, lady.
Right,
and
the
then
end
she,
was right at
out
the end.
comes this piece of ice.
Oh,
and
it
then
was
we,
ice. Okay.
We
'cause-
sit down and want a picture, and
She cut our ass off. That's it, Fred. You're done. You boys have had enough. Wait, you aren't even drinking. You almost died. We want another
Right.
beer.
right.
I mean, really?
and we asked to help you.
Right, we tried.
But it was a piece of ice. You
She
didn't tell.
should have given us
It
a
was-
free
well, it
pitcher
was-
for that.
Right, she should have. She
yeah.
should have said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate you
Those
coming to my
people
rescue."
asking for directions.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
the most.
And they just left. They
yeah,
just bolted.
like nothing was going on.
No,
It was
right.
the most cruel, unkind thing.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
It was
and we're
cruel.
sitting there like, these people just walked away, and this woman's like, I know what happened. It was so
It was the
bad.
most cruel, unkind thing until she cut our ass
She
off,
cut you-
right?
Yeah, then
Yeah,
that was.
then
the
she
cool-
almost died again.
Right.
The moral of the story is always remember to spit the nut. And we're moving on. All right, so let's try the Eagle Rare.
Oh, yeah. On that note, let's
All right,
drink
I
some
wanna-
more bourbon.
I want to
Yes.
try the Eagle Rare because there's
Let's
something
have a
about
toast to Henrietta who
to-
almost passed.
to Henrietta.
Right, yeah. Let's
She-
do
I'm
she's
it.
glad
still
she
here.
didn't know.
Right, no,
I am
yes,
glad
you're
she
right. You're
didn't.
correct.
Yeah,
And
so
glad
she
we
could
could
live. She could live forever to cut other people off.
Because
that
then our
didn't
boy
deserve
Russ
it.
would have had to serve those drinks.
All right, now
So-
this is the one I want you to. I mentioned something about this earlier, but I want to see if you notice it.
Okay.
Okay.
Two stories coming. One involves a black eye. The other involves Viagra. I'm just saying.
I would like to spell out BLACK space EYE.
Black eye, Viagra, and a grass skirt, and they're three
No, that's
different
good.
stories. Hang on, Fred. I need a new glass. I just throw it in there.
What? Did you not
Just throw it
drink
in
that
there.
last one?
No, don't throw it in. Don't just throw it in there. That's your problem, Fred. You can't just throw it in there.
Just pour the damn thing.
Oh, you didn't even drink the other one. You just threw it over his shoulder. He threw it
Exactly.
over his shoulder, didn't
That's
he?
all right. He doesn't know what he's
Hopefully he
missing.
threw it up into that nest and that bird's drunk and he won't come after your head.
Load that bird up so he can
How's
buzz me
Rufus
again.
doing over there? Is he okay?
Rufus, you good?
You need a beer?
Where's Rufus?
All right.
Yeah, well, hang on.
Get him a
Let's
beer.
get the designated driver a beer. Hang on. Hold on. What variety would you like? Okay.
Ultra, there you go. All right, so as he takes this break, again, remember, like and share. Go to our subscribe. I can't wait to go to our YouTube page to see we were at 140 subscribers. I'm going to look in the morning. It'll be 87. Like, these guys, what the hell? But
I know.
what we want this show to be is just an escape. Every Monday night, a chance for you to get away, escape like we do out here. And honestly, ultimately, the goal is that we can do it multiple times a week. We want you to have an opportunity. Now, I will say we're working on something else, that there is something with regard to current events or things that you would like us to talk about that we will be more than happy to do single camera. We will get on and we will rail for about 10 minutes. And if there's something like that you want, we're more than happy to do that.
10's not enough.
As well. But thanks to William and Greg and a handful of others. Carl, I know Carl says you need to get Dick from Dayton down there. I would tell you that is the last thing.
Well,
that
we'd
need.
have to go to a. I know where he works.
Oh,
Do
that's
you
true.
remember the story the Inquirer did, and maybe John Fay did it when he was the media
On
critic?
Dick from Dayton.
No, on all the talk show people that call in that are the regular callers.
Oh, Glenn from Mason.
That
and-
was
yeah.
like the greatest story on these people. What's his name that the bus driver that was on Saturday mornings
that
on
was
LW
the Sensible
was on
Don.
there?
Oh, Sensible Don.
He was in
Yeah.
that article. Mike from Fairfield was
Oh,
in
yeah.
that.
Well,
it was
I got a
so
buddy of
funny.
mine
It was
who
a
every
great
time
story.
Every time he calls, he mentions his father-in-law. Says it's Glenn from Centerville.
That's
he does.
great.
Just isn't right.
Well, speaking of people who pay attention for no good reason whatsoever, a toast to our studio audience
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
Now, what are we trying here? Which one is this? The Eagle
This
Rare?
is the Eagle Rare. Who brought this again? Okay.
Andy brought
So,
this.
boy,
Andy
Andy.
brought that.
Now, there's something,
good
Fred,
stuff.
about this. There's something about this that I want to see if you notice as you taste it, okay? I already mentioned it, so you've already gotten a cheat sheet on it.
I should.
You
know.
ready? You should
already
know.
said something?
I already mentioned it.
Swish it around a little bit in your mouth.
Swish it around. Get your
I
nose
want
in
you to
there.
really taste it.
Get your nose in there.
I want you to really.
Get your nose
Somebody
in there.
have some couth. I mean,
I like the WLWT hat in the audience.
How about that? Oh, wow. That was a plant, and you fell for it. Straight to the back. No top, no bottom, straight to the back. And the exact same thing that happened a couple weeks ago. As it finishes out. And again, I know I'm doing that pretentious nonsense that I
Do it.
make fun of. Did you pick that up, Fred?
I'm not
Hot.
much
It's
in
kind of hot.
It was hot.
And peppery, kind of a
Head peppery.
Definitely pepper.
Yeah, did you get
You
that?
know what's weird about me is it was all on top. All.
See, all mine went
Nothing
straight to
down
the back.
here.
No, nothing
Isn't that
here.
crazy?
Nothing here went straight
Mine's
to the back.
all on the top.
Isn't that funny?
That is so weird.
Yeah,
That his was that much different than mine.
but it was.
It is so weird.
It went from the tip of my tongue straight to the back and then down. There was no top, no bottom.
Because that hit me almost like a rye hits me. And I had a bottle of that about 3 months ago. I wanted it at work. It was great.
You wanted it
In
at
a
work.
raffle, yeah.
I want
We
to
had
work.
a-
I want to work at Channel 5 then. You know what? I
We
want
had
to work.
a raffle. There was
Chance
a,
to walk my dog.
There was a good bottle of Blanton's. There was a bottle of Eagle Rare. And then what happened was, and it was a fundraiser for the Ruth Lyons Fund.
Okay.
So we sold all these, and it was all done in-house. And friends and family members could buy raffle tickets. And they had, it was the 6 millionth bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Really?
And so, or barrel. And there was a bottle of it out of that. And what Buffalo Trace did is they put it in this wooden box with these glasses. It was a great setup. And these
Cool
things,
set, yeah.
these things were going for probably $2,000 on eBay.
Wow.
And so they were auctioning or raffling that off. And I hit the Eagle Rare bottle, which was great. And what would you do if you got this thing worth $2,000? You probably sell it, right? You don't drink it.
I'd sell it.
I think I might too.
I need money.
No, you
'Cause then
got
I
to
could
drink it.
buy-
You
Why?
got to drink it just so you can say you did it.
But it's Buffalo Trace. It's the same bourbon that you're going to get out of bottle or barrel 6 million and one, and you could buy what? I mean, you could buy.
Look, I would love
400.
to. I would love to be able to say I took a $2,000 pee. You know what I'm saying?
Tonight I'm going to be able to say
Well,
I
I'll
took
tell
like
you
a
what, I'll take you to
$4
a bar
leak.
downtown. You
Okay.
can get a shot of something that is way overpriced.
And then a DUI
So,
on the way home.
Have
and
either
then I
one
can
of
pee.
you sampled Pappy?
That's 10.
Because that's
I've
the,
never had the
I have
Pappy.
just a little,
Okay, because that's the right.
but yes, but when I did, it wasn't like what it is now.
Okay.
So I can't even tell you. Back then,
Is
I
it
would have
worth
thought
that?
it's
I
like
mean-
old
Well,
Crow.
you know what?
I don't know.
You know what I
I
do know
don't
about
know.
that? There was a great show, and it was about. I think it was a 2-hour special, and I don't know if it was PBS or whatever, but it was called Bourbon Tucky. And it was about Heaven Hill and Maker's Mark and all these different, and Old Forester and everybody. But they talked about Pappy Van Winkle. The reason that it is priced the way that it is because they made it so long ago, they had no idea what the demand would be. So
Right.
even now, they can't tell you how much it's going to cost you 15 years from now when it comes to fruition and matures to the level that they want it to, and that's why.
And that's what was interesting when they went to them and said, well, why don't you just make
more.
way
Yeah.
more? And they're like, in 20 years, do we know what the market is?
Exactly.
It could be flooded, and we're sitting on this. And
But I would tell you did you see that? Did you see that
I
whole
saw part
thing?
of it. I wish
the
I'd
great
seen
thing
the
about,
whole
I think
thing.
it was
It was-
Heaven Hill that I think they had a fire, and it took down
Yeah.
almost the entire distillery, and all the other bourbon makers gathered together, gave
Yep.
them the equipment, gave them everything they needed to rebuild themselves.
Yep.
And I thought, that is pretty awesome
Yeah, that
because
was
you
really
are
cool.
fighting tooth and nail. Now, I would tell you, they're all making bank.
Yep.
Everybody's doing
Right.
well, but back then, that wasn't necessarily the case. They lost almost everything in that fire.
And that aging thing is
Huge.
interesting too, because some bourbons will be like, we're going to tap this thing and see if it's right yet, and if it's not, it keeps aging.
Yeah.
Some set a certain number of years, some just do it by taste.
Yeah.
And I know like Weller's, and I almost brought the 107.
I have some of that.
okay,
I didn't bring it either.
and it can explode on you because it's a pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 107 proof. But if you get the Weller's that's got the black label and it's aged like 11 years, oh my God!
So I
Now
had
you
the
can't
green
find
I had
it.
the green and the red. I don't have the black.
The black is hard to find, and Richard has it at his bar downtown or down in
Smoke
Covington.
Justice.
Smoke
Okay.
Justice, yes. Richard has it there, and I'll get it there. And the dude told me, one of his bartenders is like, "No, you can go to this store. Da, 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 they'll have it." I go in there. I mean, look, I'm just some numbskull coming in and saying, "Hey, you got any of the black label back there?" No.
Yeah.
You kind of got to know someone.
And then
to
do you
get
go,
that.
just
No.
kidding, I'm Superman George Vogel.
No. That's
And then they
never.
go, oh, George Vogel. Wait, I'm sorry, we have a case. It's
I
already
don't
in your
think that'll
trunk.
get you.
I wish it worked that way. It doesn't, nor would I ever try that. I would be embarrassed.
Well, but
That's
if it worked,
embarrassing.
I would do it. I would come in and go, I'm George Vogel. Can I get some of your black?
No, I can't do that.
So let me reset real
ridiculous.
quickly again. Gamble and Finn, the reality check. You can normally find us on Thursday nights, 9 to midnight,
one?
on 700 WLW. George is our last call, and we're just doing a little introductory bourbon tasting because Fred is kind of getting his feet wet. I'll take one if you don't mind, Fred. Getting his feet wet on the idea of bourbon or other spirits versus just
He's done very well
drinking
so far.
beer and having a beer with a shot and working it the right way. It makes for a great night. And I would tell you, to our studio audience and those who have come out and brought bottles, thank you very much. The idea of the show is to be as inclusive as possible. We want you to pay attention. We want you to be here. We want you to, eventually we're going to take this on the road. And we're going to do what we call the Reality Check Roadshow. And we'll go out, and ideally, you mentioned Dickman's place, off of
Right.
Smoke Justice. He took that party
Built a
room
bourbon
and
bar.
made a bourbon
Oh,
bar.
is that
Yeah.
place
But it's
sweet?
one of so many down in northern Kentucky. But that
Right.
place is kick ass.
It
What's
is.
the? Can't think of the name of it.
I think it's Bourbon Bar.
Just straight bourbon
Yeah.
bar. But I mean, you walk and you look, and the great part is, no matter what you see on these shelves, they have to climb ladders
Yes.
to get to some of these bottles. But the bartender goes, "Which one do you want? I'll tell you all about it." And that's cool. The storytelling about this, is what's so cool to me about all of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've been down there and had friends in town that, wanted to check it out. And you see that wall of bourbon, and
Yeah.
it goes all the way around.
All the way, yeah,
like
both
the
sides.
bar's in the middle. Yes, both sides. And I can't remember what it was I asked for. And then this poor girl comes around with this ladder.
Yeah.
And it's on the rails. It's on.
That makes
but I'm
it
like,
cool. That's
I
cool.
don't want you to have to climb up
Yes,
there.
you do. Yes,
Yeah, you do.
do.
What do you-
That's the whole point of doing it.
You got.
I just want to know what goes in this
I'm not
bag and
gonna
why it's
say-
not back up here.
Probably golf balls.
All right, hang on. Story
Now.
time.
All right.
Black eye,
Where is that
grass
bottle?
skirt, or Viagra?
Grass skirt.
Grass skirt?
You know, I'm not going to say Viagra. Grass
Well,
skirt.
we're getting to that at some point. So grass skirt would be, and this has, speaking of Dickman, this is Dickman's Kentucky Sports Cafe. I was heading down there on, I want to say, was it a Saturday? Saturday, and I knew it could get ugly. And my lovely wife was in Florida with the family, I do believe. I was left here to my own demise.
That is true.
And I called George and I said, hey, look, man, tonight when you get off the air, I may need a rescue. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but could be brutal. So at the time I was on I was on some radio station. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Q102, trust me. But they were having a party down there, some luau. So one of the one of the servers down there, what the hell was her name? Jesus. I mean, this is
Our technical crew may have imbibed
our technical crew, that would
too
be my
much.
youngest son.
The
who
bad
just
news is the
fell on
youngest
his ass.
person on our crew just stumbled in.
So
That is bad.
So I went there, and it was obviously Q1, and there was a luau.
Look at this one, Fred. Look over there. Look over there. Finish your story
I'm
on that
supposed to look
camera.
over. You want to look over here? I'm supposed to look at this camera. I'm not used to this visual medium. I'll look there. Okay, so I just ignore you guys? Okay.
Please do.
So here's the deal. So I'm down there. That's why we
Cool,
do
because I'm going to
audio.
pee over here.
You got to go, Fred? Thank you. Well, I need a haircut. It's called my Corona hair. But anyway, let's get to it. So where the hell did he go?
I thought he went to
So do you remember this?
water the lawn.
Well, yeah, if you have to go bad, just go beyond the blue spruce here. It's all good. So I called George and said it could be some debauchery later tonight. I get there. Chelsea was her name. Mm-hmm. She gave me her grass skirt.
Yeah.
So it was the end of the night, and I was, at this point, I'd been overserved. Not my fault. And so I called George. He was coming after he got off the news. So I had to go in. I don't know whether he knows this or not. So I had to go in, and I had to urinate. And I had the grass skirt on, which was okay. So I made it through the shorts, but then the grass skirt may have deflected some of it. So when I come out, he was kind enough to meet me, and I think we maybe had another beer. But when I came out, I threw I don't know why the hell did I even bring the grass skirt home, but I threw it in your trunk. Hopefully you Lysoled that. Can you imagine that today? Oh my God. What will
That's
you
what
catch?
that smell was.
Yeah, well, it's
I didn't know about the urination part.
Yes. Now,
I had
that
no idea.
You didn't?
that
You just learned that?
No, I
Was that
smelled it.
This
but
show
I'm
is
like,
educational, if nothing else.
Was that a different night than the one night when you took me and the two other people home?
No, that's the same night.
That was the same night?
I walk in stone cold sober, and
You
you're
were.
in a green grass skirt.
Yeah, it was bad.
And you had something under it, though. Did you have shorts or gym
Well, I had
shorts?
pants on. Yeah, I had shorts on. Yeah. So then we took two other people home. One was a longtime minor leaguer for the Reds, right? They keep pointing at me. I guess I'm supposed to keep looking here. And the other was a female who was a sister of a good friend of mine. So we took Reds minor leaguer home, right? And then you took sister home down in Covington, right?
Yeah, we went all the way down.
And you dropped her off.
Near Mainstrasse.
And she was probably intoxicated. And I've never heard this before. She didn't want to go inside.
And me being a nice guy, I'm like, I'm going to wait till she gets in the house. We want to
did,
make
right?
sure she's safe.
But she never
We know
went
she's
in.
bombed. She doesn't go in.
So at some point, did you just leave?
We're backing out, and then I'm starting to pull away, and there's and she's in a car.
She didn't want to wake anybody, so she drove. That makes sense. So I go in and go to bed.
Good
let's drive.
story.
She
Anybody
made it-
that wants to sponsor the show from a lawyer's
Well,
office.
no, that's okay.
Just reach out to Lori
Blake
at-
Maslin would be all over this.
Yeah, Blake
Yeah.
Mason. 444. What's the other one?
4444.
Yeah.
Hard to remember. But anyway, so she made it. Everything was okay.
Hang on, I got to check some more people off our potential sponsor list.
Right.
Hang on. Oh, shit. Anyway.
Don't do that.
No, but
to
you
me.
know, it's funny that you say that, Fred. I had a night out with a guy that worked with me at the radio station. He wouldn't go inside. He just laid down by a tree in his front yard. We're like, all right, then.
See you later.
And he woke up next to that tree the next day. It's on him. That's
Did
on
you ever
him.
know anybody who got taken home in the grocery cart? I mean, I did. I mean, it wasn't me. I wasn't thinking, but
No.
Susie got wheeled up to the door and See, she couldn't get out of the damn cart. It didn't matter. She was safe.
And I would tell you, as we reset again, Gamble and Finn, the reality check, larger than live here at House Gamble on the Oasis. The honest to God, the intro to the show is getting longer than the show itself. What we were trying to do was kind of class this thing up with the bourbon and the tasting and everything else. But what's happened is I would tell you what happened is exactly what we wanted to have happen. It became real life. This is what happens in real life. Don't be a dumbass. Don't be a dick. Take care of your friends, and that's what you're seeing right now. We're standing here. We're taking care. I mean, we're at your house. Worst case scenario, we all stay here. That's what you should be doing. And the opportunity to do this kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And thank you again
Agreed.
to the good doctor and those at the
Dr. Bourbon,
Liquor
Joel,
City
and
Uncorked.
Liquor City Uncorked, which was the old cork and bottle that Liquor City bought. Yeah.
It's a nice night.
They got a
we got
great
plenty
selection.
of lounge chairs, backyard. You can go from this end to
Yeah,
that end.
this camera over here.
And
now,
quite
Fred.
honestly,
Oh,
we're
this one
lucky
now?
living
What the
where we
hell?
live. We have
Where's
great
the
bourbon
producer?
selections.
They've
Where's
been
the
pointing.
producer?
They've been
I'm supposed
pointing.
to have somebody going.
They have been
I'm
pointing at
visually
you.
impaired, man. I can't see shit.
That's
Well,
good.
take those sunglasses off.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with
Why
it.
don't you just face? Look, hey,
Okay, hi.
Wait
I'm
a-
here.
look.
Look at me.
Fred. For what it's worth, why
Is
don't you
Rufus producing this?
Oh, my God.
why don't you just face that way? Because it would be just as effective, since you don't know what's going on. It's fine.
Waiting to come out.
I'm glad I fixed that hair that was out of place.
He's
You
gonna
look good
fly
now.
down your throat.
Hold on,
All
we're going
right.
to tell another one. We're going to Black Eye.
All right, so black eye, you got a black eye, and then well, he and I have been over here sampling other drinks while you've
It's
been telling
okay,
stories,
just
but
go
go right ahead because we just still have show and tell.
Oh, we do.
Oh, gosh, we do.
We do. You're good. You can walk off set and get that. So Black Eye, and I still have Viagra, too.
Well, we're
So-
not going to that.
No, yeah, hell we
Let's
are.
not brag.
So Black Eye would be Fred's 50th birthday party.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Uh-oh.
So one of the things that you probably don't want to encounter if you're in the television business is a black eye. So he had a very nice, it was awesome, a surprise kind of party for him up at the, what was that, like the communal
Yeah, the clubhouse. We'll call it.
clubhouse. Okay. So we're all up there having a great time, and it's obviously he's been overserved at this point, so we're trying to get him home. And let's just say, did you miss the step? Did you don't remember?
Yeah, I missed a step. It was a flat sidewalk, but I missed the step.
He thought they had built one, and there wasn't one.
And he went straight down.
And I had a 230-pound dude behind me who decided he was going to catch me going down. No, he just pile drived me into the pavement.
And let's just say, didn't you take a vacation?
I was off till the following Friday because I had road rash on my left eye. You would have thought I grounded a motorcycle on a gravel road. I mean,
Well,
I
if you
got up
remember-
that next morning, I'm like, oh, my God, that's ground beef. I mean, it was terrible.
Well, and hang on, you're forgetting the one thing about the night. I'm just an attendee at the party. I had to intervene with the dude who was over the clubhouse, remember?
Yeah.
Jim
one of the
Botts,
board yeah,
God love him.
Yeah,
he passed away. But he's coming up there, and I don't know what the problem was, but I'm like, hey, Botts.
The problem was this. My
was
wife
that?
rents the place, and I don't know. And there was a policy that you had to be done by midnight.
That didn't occur.
Well, because she invited a bunch of people I work with that get off at 11:30. So why do you? So all these people show up and they're kicking it into overdrive,
Right.
And the representative
So
from the board of directors
I'm
shows
just
up.
there
He
trying
knows
to have a
him.
good night. I had to talk him off the ledge.
And
Okay,
the police come up, and my
Right.
wife's like, I'm forfeiting the deposit. Whatever you charge me. We're staying here. And we did. And it was not the right thing to do. I'm not proud of that. But, that was...
You made it. It was all good. And
Yeah.
by the way, I was kind of glad you weren't on the news last night because I think News 5 last night had the hottest 3 females that I've seen in a while. You had Molly Lair at the anchor desk, Allison at the weather desk, and Elise at the sports desk. And I thought to myself, man, okay.
We might know what we're doing.
Beats some of the other
We
stations
might
in
know what
town
we're doing.
With what I'm looking at.
We
That would have
might
been
know
the,
what we're doing.
proverbial turd in the punch bowl. Is what
Look,
you're saying.
I know I'm on my last leg.
No.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But the best part of
You're
it
the
is
man.
you know and don't have to care.
Ah,
True.
Right? I mean, I'm just saying, if I were you, I wouldn't give a rat's ass.
as
Well,
is,
I do. That's a problem. I do still care.
Well,
I do.
To a degree.
as is
Yes.
evidenced by this.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would tell you this: the insight has been invaluable. The stories have been great. I think there may be one other one that we want to try up there. Is that the?
Oh, yeah. It's Viagra. So, anyway.
Well, we have the story, but let's try one. Let's try the local one here. New riff.
You mean bourbon?
Yeah,
try.
because
My
that's
bad. I
why
thought
we're
you
here.
meant
The
story.
bourbon tasting.
Okay.
Well, that's not
Okay,
why
I'm-
we're
I'm
here.
very
It's part of why we're
interested
here.
to
Now, what
see-
I've
is
not
this?
had this. This is the new
I've
riff
already been out
that
of
comes out of the distillery down in Newport.
Yes, and I'm very anxious to see where this hits.
Can we try that?
No,
No,
So this is
me.
the one that's
Nope,
right
that's good.
off the interstate, correct?
a little
Off
bit.
Right down there by
471?
Party Source.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
In fact, I thought the dude we golfed with, the professor, had invested in this, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. He may have invested in another one. Down at Triple. Remember? Come on, your boy over at NKU. You know who I mean. He went to Dayton.
Oh, Matt Shank.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Right. All right.
He invested in one of these.
Did he really?
But this was a beer distillery or beer
Right, they
brewery.
turned a beer into
I think it was
into
called
a
Eight
bur-
Ball, and then it
Right.
became a.
Town Branch does that down, and they do beer and
Oh, are they doing
bourbon
both?
out of the same facility, and like the same vats and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
They'll
it's-
brew beer for
what
a
is
while,
this?
and then they clean it out.
That's
and
crazy.
do-
This is the new riff.
This is the new riff from down in Newport by the Party Source.
Just to let you know, I'm probably not walking at 6 a.m. in the morning.
You're not.
No, there's an outside
I may not
chance.
be walking at 9 p.m. this evening.
I won the bet I put down last week, by the way,
Which is?
that you would not be walking at 6 a.m.
Oh, okay. I'm good now, but
That was easy money.
But you guys have pounded these more than I have.
But it's not. That's the thing, and I would tell you, it's not pounding. It is sipping. There's
Sipping,
sometimes
okay.
where I will pull myself back to just touching the tip of my tongue to it and thinking, all right, I can do this for 6
I left those
hours.
cigars in my car.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because someone did, and this is a different episode. All you're missing is cigars. Now, this is when we get you and Doc back out here.
What I
Because
would
Doc,
do-
is
Doc,
the
are you
cigar.
kidding me? From Loveland to here.
Oh, he's
We're
not in
gonna have to
Loveland
drive.
anymore. He's not in Loveland.
Where
anymore.
is he?
He
We'll
lives
get
in
him
he lives in the Bat Cave under Wayne Manor. I'm not allowed to tell you exactly where.
I'll get him a hotel room down here at the
Yeah.
Red Roof Inn.
But I'm telling you,
We'll get him an
now,
Uber to it.
The best part is if we do
Is
a
the
show.
Wildwood still open? We'll put him there.
Oh, the heart-shaped
We'll
bed
put him there.
in the cave room. Oh yeah, get him in the
Doc's
cave. or
going to the
pyro room.
Wildwood.
Oh yeah. Now here's what I would tell you. The good news is if we do this show, and it's a cigar show, and it starts out with 4 of us, within 10 minutes it'll be 3 of you because I'll be face down in the fountain over there. Because I went out with him to Jungle Jim's once. Not long ago, and I thought I was the man. I'm like burp, 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 and the next thing I know, I'm like, where am I? What am I doing? And I had to leave.
Wait, these were cigars?
These were cigars. One
Doc
one
cigars.
that he gave me. He goes, "You should do this one." And I started pulling on this thing like I was a pro, and I found out my amateur status quickly.
Well, you do have to be careful with some of them.
Yes, you do.
I had some.
We'll do it next time. How about that?
Have you ever dipped
Wait,
the
well, trust
tip?
me,
I have
in
not-
the
I have not done
bourbon
the
and-
tip.
Oh, it's
offense.
good.
When we're done here tonight, there's
I'll
still
get
time.
'em.
Yeah, you'll get
I
them.
will. Okay.
All right. Well, cheers. Interesting. That's a whole different thing.
Wow.
Jesus, we're being encouraged. To
The
try.
makers. All right. The last
that
one we'll
hit me
do.
all on top of the
It hit
tongue
me
and up.
everywhere. That
Did it?
went everywhere.
Mine was all top of tongue again.
All right, so we'll wrap with the Maker's Private Select because that's one I've not had. I thought it was cask
You know what?
strength.
I don't think
and
I've
then
had
he's
that
like,
either.
I go, oh, is it the Maker's Touch? He goes,
108.4
yeah.
proof.
We're only
boys.
allowed to smell this, by the way. We're not even allowed to taste it because he wants to take all of it. If it evaporates while you have the lid off, he's going to be pissed. But I would tell you, tonight's been a lot of fun, and that's really what we thank you, sir.
it has been
What
fun.
we want the show to be. Thank you again to everybody who came out to hang out, and Lori and the whole crew, Zach and everybody, for making it happen. The sound is better. The look
Yep.
is better. The actual content may or may not look better, but the cameras are killing.
Show and tell, Fred.
And we still have show and tell. I know we got lots to do still,
Oh, I
and we
didn't
are
know. I
over
thought
the
it was-
1
Here, I'll
hour
go get
mark.
it. I'll go get it for you.
We are over the 1 hour mark, which is rare because
Just leave the umbrella
hang on for a
out of
second.
it.
Fred, you're not going to believe this. I just looked at our statistics. 11,000 people are watching. No. Nope. 11-ish. 11-ish. That's what I meant. 11-ish. No, it's all good. And the bottom line is we've had a good time. We hope you've had a good time. And that's what this is all about, is a chance for us to get together, tell some stories, and have some fun. And take the just day-to-day bullshit out of it. You know, honest to God.
I can't listen
when we
anymore
talk
to
to
this.
Dardis, it's like, how do you even filter this through your head from behind the anchor desk? You know, with sports, I mean, it's
not easy. It's
trying
easy
to
for
find
me.
trying to find a sport that you can report on that isn't upside down or whatever. So the ability and the opportunity to do this, we appreciate those of you who are paying attention. And I think
People
let's
here aren't even
let's
paying
talk about this.
attention.
Let's talk about no. The people in the studio audience have already gone out there playing badminton out on the back 40.
Right.
So which one is this? This is the Makers.
Yes.
Which one is this?
Private Select.
Listen, Fred, someone's being killed over
Oh,
there.
of course they are. Someone gets murdered during this show every single week.
This is
Hand me that if you
54%
would.
alcohol.
Hand me that, will you? Hand me that.
You're gonna do it.
I'm going to see, while you guys are talking, I'm going to see if I can switch the bottles down here.
No.
Oh, that's the one I brought. That's the one I
So
brought.
before show and tell, we have. Go ahead, take it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I know you have one more story and then show and tell. Cheers.
Actually,
Cheers, and cheers to all of you. Thank you guys for being here. If you're online, thank you very much. And we look forward to the next opportunity to serve you.
two more stories actually. Well, just one.
Oh, for God's sakes, Fred, it's almost sundown.
What do you think, Fred?
Oh, man.
Did you like
That's
that?
really good to me. That's really good.
Because the thing is,
Where'd that hit you?
huh?
That got me
All in the front of the tongue, and then it went back.
so bizarre. It got me
It
in
went
the back.
Did it? It went no, but then it went back, but no up, no down. It just went front of the tongue back. I forget the other one that
You
did
know
that.
what's crazy is like all of these that we've done. There's been
Done
no
something different.
monster burn,
No,
and it's all been different.
the
There's
Eagle
been
Rare
no
is the only
monster
one that
burn.
had any kind of burn on the way down. Well, I think you said you felt the 1792 immediately
down here, but
down
it
here.
wasn't a bad burn.
No,
I
you just
don't
knew it was the
mind.
first one going
Right.
down. Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yep. No, it's good.
I want to know I drank something.
Yeah. No.
All right, here
very-
comes
was
the
good.
demonstration.
Oh, here we
Oh
go.
God!
So
okay.
over the weekend, you played golf, right, Fred?
Yesterday,
Yesterday.
and the storm
Okay.
blows in.
Storm blows in, and you have this newfangled umbrella.
Well, I got like 4 or 5. I got umbrellas everywhere in my car, and for some reason, I just pick one and run to the clubhouse
you
as
picked
fast
this
as
one.
I can.
And-
I picked that one.
And
And I get in the clubhouse, I get my rain check, I get back out of the clubhouse under the awning, and I have no idea how to open this thing. And it's coming down in sheets.
so you
It is
ran out
sheets
with
of
an,
water. This is true.
you
going
ran
the
out
other way
with
with
an
the sheets, man.
unopened umbrella.
Yeah, I've got this thing.
So
I'm
let's
standing
see
out
it. Put it
there.
up.
I'm standing out there like this. I'm like, okay, any umbrella, you would do this.
Yeah, you push
right?
the button and it opens, right?
Or there's a button on the hand. There's
Right.
something.
What is
What
it?
is this thing?
What is
Okay,
it?
so I got. I don't know.
It's like
dude.
it's like a witch's
Go.
brew.
That's
I
the
have no
dumbest
idea.
thing I think I've ever
It's a
seen.
is it?
Now you say Rufus opened
The
it?
hell?
Rufus opened it immediately.
Wait, but he couldn't
Oh.
get it. Oh, there you go.
Whoa, that's,
Well,
not right.
That's not a brew. That's not a.
Oh, there you go. Hey, there you go.
And the handle comes off. That's a defective.
You know what
umbrella.
this is? No, hang on for a sec. Mary Poppins. That's exactly right.
Now, how do you?
Huh?
Oh, there it is.
I am going to put
Where
that back
in the
in there.
heck is the button?
It's right
Fred.
there. But
I
I would tell you this right now.
Right where? That?
You are now fully equipped to go discipline some British children.
There, look at that. There you go.
Hey,
Hey, there you
you
go.
did it.
Who wants this? Because I don't. You got an umbrella. I want an umbrella that's an umbrella.
Well,
All right,
plus-
hang on.
plus,
From there,
it's not even big enough to cover you in your golf bag.
Correct.
from
I've got
there,
4 golf umbrellas in there that I know
And
how
that's
to
the
open,
one you-
and I picked that thing, and so I got to run to my car, and people are like,
meanwhile-
"This idiot's got an umbrella in his hand, unopened,
and it's
he's
col-
running,
and it's
in a
collecting
wall."
water so that when you do open it, it spills.
It was a disaster. I'm just like, I'm not standing here anymore.
You ready?
Looking at this thing.
From there to Viagra.
Okay. And finally.
I can set up this. I think I can do a pretty good justice of this. So we're
Can we
setting
talk about
up.
my football?
Yeah, we will.
We will. We got
Next,
show and tell.
that'll be
That's
next.
last. So we're at the Hofbräu House, Newport, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting out on the patio. It's myself and Lori, you and Lisa, and another couple may have involved a prominent Cincinnati high school football coach with his wife at the
Yeah.
time. And you go into how do we even get on this subject?
I have no idea.
But you start talking about the importance of a pill splitter
Right.
because you don't apparently you're pitiful, but you don't need the entire pill, right?
Correct. No,
does
you
that
don't.
still hold true today?
Yes.
And then, so you use the pill splitter, it gets you what you need, and then
It's an enhancer.
it's an enhancer. But if you remember the enhancement, remember after we played golf the one time,
Yes.
you had me call the dude over in Zimbabwe or wherever the hell you got the pills from. Remember? And then it gets even better. So I'm on the phone with this dude. I'm trying to tell him about the Viagra order, right? And he couldn't understand a friggin' word that I was saying. But wait, it gets better. So he has me call Lisa, his wife, at her law office. And first I leave a message in this. I try to talk like I'm him. I'm doing this horrible imitation.
Hey, Lisa, hey.
No, it was like, oh, yes, I'm calling for your husband, and I understand the Viagra is something you order via
you're
mail. Oh, yeah. And it was like, we've got your shipment, and we're just trying to figure out to make sure you get it in time. And so I think if I'm am I right? She called me back. And at the time, she didn't know it was me, right? Oh, it was so great. Oh, my God.
You want to know what's even better?
Oh, yes.
Last week I get home and she goes, a Ludlow cop just left this letter for you. And it's the U.S. Customs Service telling me that something's been held up.
Was it that?
Yeah, and I gotta pay to destroy it, or I gotta claim it's mine for personal use. Well, in the meantime, the people I can't understand call me and tell me they've reshipped it
Oh, my
with
God.
another. So I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
You're going to have a barrel of Viagra.
Right. Oh, my
And-
God.
As long as I have a splitter, I'll be
Oh, you
okay.
have a pill splitter. That's
my
good.
God.
So yeah, and
Oh,
the
my
Ludlow
God.
the police didn't really drop it off because she says that. I go, God, I am so screwed, aren't I? And then after like 20 minutes of torture, she goes, no, it just came in the mail.
Wait, I was asking if it was the same guy who pulled your ass over before you were calling to us on Thursday
Oh
night.
Lord, yes.
So
that's
correct
right.
me if I'm wrong then. But if moving forward,
God love
when they
him.
go to sports on the 11 o'clock news,
Right.
and you only see him from here up,
Right, you'll know why.
Oh gosh.
Right,
you'll know
oh my
why.
God.
That's not. None of that's true. But it's funny. It is funny.
Is it time for show and tell?
I don't
Well,
know
after
after that.
that?
After that, I don't think maybe it's not.
I did have an update, and I forgot about that till just now.
Right, that's
The
great.
letter, the customs letter is
Outstanding.
beautiful.
Customs letter.
All
it's
right,
awesome.
I'll go.
I could be in jail next week, just so you know.
For what? You haven't done anything wrong.
I know I haven't, but I could be in jail. Will you bail me out?
Sure, I'll be right there for you.
Hopefully they throw me in New York where they don't keep anybody. They just let them
I
out.
was going to
Just
say
let him
right
in
now,
and
throw
him out.
jail.
Can I be arrested in New York, please? Is
Right,
that going to be
exactly.
your? All right, so here we'll
love it.
start
This
show
is
and
great.
tell. We have to make certain with our producers that we're good to start here with me. I'm gonna go all the way back to last Saturday, where I
Okay.
drank, as you so eloquently.
Hang on, let me see if I can remember it. Champagne.
Yes.
Cleared out all the natty light in
Yes.
the little fridge.
Yes.
Went
Not so
to-
little fridge.
Little fridge, right? Mm-hmm. Went to. There was
Fireball.
Fireball. Got that done, and
Yeah.
then went to tequila.
Correct. And then maybe rubbing alcohol. I'm
You
not
might.
100%
I was going to say
not
you.
not 100%
You might
sure.
have an
I
issue.
hope not.
But I will tell you this, and it was because I was celebrating the following.
Yeah, this is. I'll give him. You'll appreciate this. I've seen him play golf before, and he's horrendous.
I'm not horrendous. I was actually quite good at the time. That time being when I was 20.
You're horrendous. Continue.
So 104 years ago. But I play in a
This is
group, and
impressive.
maybe if you'd like to play me, you may be too good. The Mediocre Golfers Association, the MGA.
George is
I would
pretty good.
love to be in that.
You
George
should
can't putt.
You should play because the
I
thing
can't
is,
putt worth a nickel.
Terrible.
here's what
putt.
I would tell you. I have been deemed the WME, worst member ever, because I play once a year, and it's always the Bastards. They do a major tournament every year
Right.
playing off the PGA, so the Masters becomes the Bastards. We were at the Vineyard this past week. I hadn't played in 2 years. The last tournament I played was Blue Ash, I think, because I broke my hand last year.
Did like Golf Magazine or someone
They did.
a story on
Yes,
this?
they did.
I saw that.
The guy who founded it, he's from Cincinnati. He lives in
Yes.
Vegas. His dad is our chapter member,
Okay.
Bill
I
Morley.
did see that. I read that in Golf Magazine.
So
And there's
I
a
play-
good moral to this story
And-
about
and-
how you play.
And there really is. You go out, and if you look, I mean, the logo is a guy with a club flying out of his hand, and it says, "Face it, you suck."
Oh, I've seen you throw one.
And
or
it's the
two.
MGA. But I hadn't played in 2 years, and I went out, and because I don't have any strokes against me with my handicap, I put up an 89. I don't know how, but I
good.
did at
That
the
is
Vineyard.
very good.
That's the best score I've
That's
put
a
up
good score
in
there.
in 10 years.
That's a good
I
score
came
there.
in second by 1 stroke because Dennis, who won, put up an 86, and he had 2 to add, so he had an 88. But that's my show and tell. Normally, it's something signed by someone famous.
How big is that check?
It is 84 cents. The entire
Wait a
price.
minute.
The entire purse was $7.
It's great. Yeah,
So I have 84
cents.
cents. It's signed by you. Are less than stellar. Memo is
awesome,
you're
isn't it?
kind of all right. And so
I
that's
love
it. But
that.
that's the big. I have checks this big on
I
my
have-
refrigerator from coming in 13th. But I was not in what they call the warm handshake club, which is anybody that finishes out of the money. So I'm telling you, I've tried to get Doc in. If you want to play,
I would
it's a
love to be
blast.
in.
And these guys, there's one guy actually they called Doc, and he actually came in and he shot an 80, and he shot so well that he was disqualified.
So you're done.
Yeah, you're done. He was out. He got the DQ.
Are you still
award.
allowed to play in the tournaments
Of
though,
course.
and just have fun and
Yes.
play and participate?
But he's very
Okay.
good, and
I
he
mean, I
has,
couldn't shoot an
he has-
80,
Well,
but I'm
here's
just
here's a great Bill Morley, who won the previous tournament, was in the warm handshake club the following. So it's just that's
Okay.
just how it goes.
That's great.
I
That's-
just happened to get lucky. I didn't give a shit, so I swung away. I
That's
grip
the
it and
moral
rip it,
to the story.
And so I came in second. So that is my show and tell. It's self-aggrandizing. I
That
know.
is fantastic.
I love it. So it's on my
you
fridge
should.
with pictures of my daughter.
All right, Fred, you're up.
I'm up. Okay, I got the football I brought. Signed by the Bengals' last Super Bowl team.
Oh, holy cow.
Well, yes. Holy cow is right. So what happened was, and this is like journalistic standards be darned. This was terrible. So what they did was they let media on, because when you go to the Super Bowl,
Show the camera
you get,
over there.
when you go to the Super Bowl, you get a couple of planes.
Yeah.
And so they said you can have 2 media people per outlet for television stations, beat writers, all that, if you wanted to go. So we get together before we go, and you should not do this as a media member and ask for autographs.
Correct.
Right?
I get
you
it.
shouldn't. But somebody, and it wasn't me, talked to the Bengals ahead of time and said, if we pass a ball around with a Sharpie attached to it, will they sign it? Well, somehow Paul Brown's wife got involved with this and thought it was a great idea and wanted everybody to do it. So we get on the plane. We got these balls. I bought this at Cook Sporting Goods. It's an 4 autographs, obviously. So a couple of things. One, we're on the flight down. Paul Brown's wife's on there. She's amazing, great lady. She's all for this. So we pass these balls around. So I end up with everybody's autograph except Boomer and Sam Weish.
Who's ever heard
because
of-
they flew down
Who's
early.
ever heard of them?
Right. They fly down early because they had awards to get and all this stuff. So they weren't on the charter plane. The other name not on here is who?
Stanley Wilson.
Stanley Wilson.
Bingo.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that?
Couldn't find him.
Yeah.
He was asleep on the plane. He's asleep. So I got everybody on here. You go through this ball, and there is nobody. So later, I tell Boomer, and I had a piece of tape over this area when they signed it. No. I was going to put a damn logo on there of the Bengals, Super Bowl 23 or whatever it was. Well, I pulled the piece of tape off, and Boomer comes in. I'm like, hey, sign the football. Bang, on the sweet spot, which is fine.
That's okay.
Because right. But I'm like, I was going to put it. Okay, that's fine.
That's all right.
And now I'm not sure I have Sam on there as many times as I saw Sam. But if you look at this ball, everybody never got Stanley Wilson, obviously.
Well, hey,
because he went AWOL.
If you want, give me a Sharpie. I'll use my opposite hand and write Stanley Wilson on there.
You know what? The funny thing is he didn't play in the game, so
No.
it worked out.
Doesn't matter
It
then.
worked
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was so bizarre that this was going on and
That's
everything.
awesome.
That week
That's cool.
was probably one of the most bizarre weeks I've ever had in my life.
Can't even imagine.
It was insane. I mean, you're down in Miami. The riots happen.
Oh, yeah, that was
That
crazy.
goes on.
Huh, that could happen today.
It was just that, but I don't think I ever got Sam, and I saw Sam numerous times.
sure.
And I'd always be like, I got to remember the ball. I got to get Sam's autograph. I don't know that I ever did. There's Stanford Jennings right there, had the touchdown. I mean, it is amazing to look at this ball and look at the guys on it. It was a different world back then with media and players.
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, it was more like, I don't know, they just, and maybe it's because I'm young and they were young and they accepted you better. I don't know, but it was a whole different world back then.
All right, here you go. This is part of my beer can collection.
I love this.
Multiple colors of the old froth and slush. And there were probably 15 of these. I probably have them all, but I only brought out 2. And you clearly could not do this today.
Nope.
Because you would be accused, Finn, of?
Fat shaming.
Thank you. Of fat shaming.
Which
And
is what you're doing when you say Finn.
She was, there you go.
That must mean something I don't know.
Oh,
So there were plenty of these, but I was back. I probably have 300 to 400 beer cans, and here you go.
Well, I would tell you though,
I
I
loved
collected
old froth and
beer
slush.
cans when
yes.
I was a kid, Fred,
Yeah.
and those were some of the most prized possessions.
Sure they
because,
were.
And here's the thing: hold it up again, because there's something about the grass. Let me have one of them real quick. I
Nothing
want to
about
make sure.
looking at her.
There's the sash, there's the flowers.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
She got paid.
Here's the thing that I would tell you.
Yeah.
Get a good close up on that. Do you see a gun to her head? No, you don't. You know what? Everybody had a good time with this. This was when people are allowed to just kind of goof off and have some fun
And laugh.
and
Right.
have a good time. I mean,
Not
these
today.
and these are pull tabs. I mean, look how those were open. That's how you know a true beer can collector.
Yeah, that's
They were pulled this way.
that
so
was
that
the
no
old.
tab.
You had to open it
But
from
the
the
pull
bottom.
tabs.
Yep.
But I would tell you, and this is the thing. And I don't want to end on a political note, but I would tell you
Please,
this.
let's not.
I would tell you this. That is a lot of fun, and that is a memory, and those are things that are going to be gone. So let's make new memories, and I think that's what we're doing.
Yep.
I think we are.
Agreed.
But
I used to love those beers.
Yeah.
Which ones didn't I like?
Probably none.
Thank you.
there's a good point. Now, I will point out.
Even Top Hat had its place because it was so cheap. When you're a college student
Really?
and you're sitting in
Top
Sander
Hat?
Hall, well, when you're sitting in Sander Hall and you're like, okay, I just bought books and I got $1.80
Then it's
and I
time
can
to
get
buy
a
some
top
hat. Yep.
for
I get it.
$1.40.
I don't
darn
want
right.
I don't want to step on your story, but I would like to add to it. You could get a case of Top Hat, 12-ounce, or I'm sorry, 16-ounce bottles, 12-ounce bottles, a case of bottles delivered to your dorm. And I remember it was Top Hat. It was 24 beers for $12.
Jesus.
And that was a highway robbery because that included delivery charge. But they had the little puzzle under the cap. Remember the little puzzle under the cap?
That's right.
It was like something for, what was the show, Concentration or whatever it was?
Yes.
It was a little
I think it was
puzzle underneath.
Concentration.
But yeah, you could get a case of returnable bottles delivered to your dorm at Miami University when they were the Redskins. For like $13-14. So you're right. You find what you can. I'm right back to where we started with wine and Mad Dog.
Yep, there you
How
go.
perfect is this?
Perfect ending.
Well, I would tell you, Fred,
gotta get
thank
to
you.
bed.
Thank you so much to the Gallensteins and everybody
Yes.
at
Yeah,
Uncorked.
Dr.
Dr.
Bourbon, absolutely.
Joel. God bless him.
Good stuff. And I would tell you this. Have you learned anything, Fred? Do you like bourbon? Do you?
Not really.
No.
You
But it's
don't?
okay. It's okay. I mean, I like
Do you
beer.
see yourself sitting around
There's
the
nothing
fire
wrong with
pit
that.
with a bourbon?
I see
instead
myself
of-
sitting around a fire pit drinking all sorts of things.
All right. Well, there you go.
But you could put one. We'll put a rock in it
Okay.
and just a little sidecar. That's
All right,
how.
I'll do a sidecar.
All right, good.
It's all good.
Sidecars are good.
So here's what we'll do. We'll all meet together at an establishment, maybe
will.
it's Dickman's place or whatever. We'll try some things we don't deserve. But hopefully as you're watching, you're seeing things, you're like, well, I never really thought of that, even the makers and the different things that are going on up here. But I would say it's about finding your thing, finding the thing that fits you, and finding the thing that you want to share with friends, because the studio audience has not only not shrunk, but it has grown since we've been here. So Andy and Dustin and everybody and Gary and everybody that's here, we appreciate you guys all being here. It's really what this is supposed to all be about. And so it's all about sharing. And thank you for being our guide during
we
all of
appreciate
this.
it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Great to be here. I had a ball. Are you kidding?
Well, now we have
I'm
to
probably not going anywhere.
now we have to end the broadcast so we can smoke cigars and pass out in the
Yeah, I was
yard.
going to say that's a typical George statement. I'm probably not going anywhere. that's great. I think that sums it all up. Yes.
All
There
right,
you go.
It's all good.
Thursday night,
Thursday night, you can hear him at 11:50.
Yeah, 700 WLW. You will hear him as our last call, 9 to midnight until they figure out what we're doing, and then who knows. But
In between a podcast.
it's been good stuff. Thanks to Lori and Zach and the entire crew here at House Gamble for the back 40. Thanks to the studio audience. Here's what we want to do. We want to find a couple sponsors. We want to find a couple places that want us to come out and do this, because honestly, there are no restrictions. We can do whatever we want. I mean, one of my eyes is already flirting with closure like I'm having a stroke, so we can do whatever we want. So the good news is, let's just make the most of it. And thank you guys for being part of it. George, that's awesome.
Thanks,
thank you
man.
so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Cheers. All right, cheers.
Always good.
And Fred, we'll do this again Thursday
got it.
night, 9 to
Yeah.
midnight, our last call with George Vogel. Next Monday night, 7 o'clock here on the Back 40, the Oasis at House Gamble. Thank you guys for being part of Larger Than Live. We went way longer than we were supposed to. I wish I had a nickel for every time I've said that, because I'd have a nickel. And we'll see you next time. Cheers. Thank you, guys.